Welcome to Imola. Located in the heart of Emilia-Romagna, Italy, Imola, officially known as the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo di Ferrari, is a circuit soaked in racing history. Opened in 1953 and carved through the countryside, it's a technical, old-school racetrack with character, challenge, and unmistakable charm. With 4.9 kilometers and 19 turns, Imola combines sweeping elevation changes, tight chicanes, and unforgiving runoff. It's a track that demands respect, especially in multi-class racing, where timing is everything. From Formula 1 to the World Endurance, GT World Challenge to touring cars, Imola has seen it all. And when we see multi-class grids roll out here, it becomes a full-scale chess match at 200 kilometers. In Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, Imola has hosted the 2022 GT3 Challenge Championship, the 2024 LMP2 World Endurance Spec Series Championship, and the 2024 Race of Champions Radical Cup. It's fast, narrow, and it's brutal on mistakes for GT and prototype drivers. Sharing the same tarmac, cooperation is key, and aggression can be costly. So let's break down the key sections of the track that defines multi-class mayhem. Starting off with the first couple of turns, Tamburello. Once flat out, now a fast left-right chicane. In single-class racing, it's all about the rhythm, but in multi-class, it's a high-pressure entry zone where prototypes pass GT traffic under braking. Risk and reward hangs in the balance. Then, as we head over to the short straight after the king to the left, we head into Villeneuve. Rapid left-right combo with a blind approach. faster classes must commit early, even with slower cars ahead. GT cars hold their line, prototypes make the judgment call. Turn 9, Piratella. A downhill off-camber part of the circuit that's quicker than it looks. GT cars are planted, but prototypes push the limits here, especially when navigating through mid-corner. And then turn 11, Aqua Mineral. A double right-hander through the steep dip. The line is crucial to get right, and too wide is pretty brave, but we have seen it, but it's also very dangerous. Traffic does get checked up here, but incidents are also common. Then turn 18 to turn 19, Ravazza's 1 and 2, the double apex that heads left and funnels everyone onto the front straight. Multi-class strategy here is crucial. Do you want to wait to go for the pass or go for it before the front straight? Imola is not just a racetrack, it's a pressure cooker. In multi-class racing, every lap brings decisions. Push or wait, dive or lift, risk or reward. Discipline, timing, trust. That's how you win at Imola. Multi-class drivers must stay thread to the needle between patience and precision. And when it all clicks, Imola becomes symphony of speed, strategy, and survival. But in the world of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, this will be host to the second round of the 2025 CMRSC Endurance Championship. While the ending of the Belgium Grand Prix was nothing short of chaos with the late rate VSC, it now sets off the championship in full swing. Qualifying at Spa was close, but in both classes, once we got to the end of racing, we saw some amazing battles throughout it. In the end, however, it was Mike who took victory in LMP2 and Sven who won it in GTE. From a larger circuit where lapping is not an issue to now a smaller circuit where it can make or break how quick you get past traffic, we are set to go racing for a very interesting round that could shake up the drivers and maybe give us some new faces on the podium. The championship is in full swing, and as I retire from this race, it's all to play for the drivers at this point. This is round 2. The Italian CMRSC Endurance Grand Prix. Welcome to qualifying here for Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club's second round of the Endurance Championship. I am your host, Rahul Nasseir, and we are getting underway now for this fantastic qualifying session here for the Italian Grand Prix. The GTEs are out on track right now, gonna set on their best laps. They only have 10 minutes to do so, and the drivers eager to get out on circuit. We had a fantastic open practice, and now we are getting in to the action underway here. Welcome out all race fans of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. We want to say a special thank you so much for 1,500 subscribers. It means so much for all the support you have given us throughout the years. It truly means a lot to our league. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can bring you another spectacular event here for the Italian Grand Prix, wherever you are around the world. These drivers race morning, afternoon, evening, or night. So we hope you can join us wherever you are, home, school, work, or just enjoying the day off here on this lovely Saturday. For us, it's about 3:58 p.m. on the East Coast, and we are now about to get started to watch these drivers come around for their first laps here. And what a great way to start it off with CMRSC's driver here, Kasper Tazeaki. Let's go on board and let's find out what a lap takes around here as we cross over the start-finish line and head over into turns 1 into Tamburello. hard onto the brakes into the left-hander. Shoot it into the right-hander. Those yellow sausage curbs can really catch you off, so you want to try to avoid it as best as possible. Now on the short straight, now as we enter into Villeneuve, break in a straight line, downshift it twice, get onto the left-hand side of the track, swing it over to the right-hand side, use all the exit curve, and then heading up to Tosa now. Hard hairpin and going uphill as well. You want to stick to the inside of the track. Very late, you want to get onto the gas, but once you do, it's a long straight as we get up to the next couple of famous corners into Aqua Mineral. But we sure have a single left-hander here that the drivers can take wide if they do need to, that you're going to see. Tazayaki does stay within the white line, totally fine as well. We head down through Aqua Mineral into the double right-hander. The second right-hander can catch you very off. One thing's for sure, stay away from those sausage curbs on the left-hand side of the circuit. Just couple of corners to go, but first we head into the chicane. Launch yourself over the curbs. Over the yellow sausage curbs, head back out, try to avoid the turquoise turf on the right-hand side that could slow your car down, but Tazayaki does a great job at doing so, and now he heads down the hill for the Ravazzas 1 and 2. How does he take it? You want to get into the turn, and as soon as possible, head over the curb, accelerate early, use all the exit curb, that's most important, line yourself up for one of the more important corners of the track. Tazayaki goes a little bit wide, carries the momentum, that's the most important part. Kasper Tazayaki will be the first driver to come across the line. The drivers will be setting off and chasing down a 1 minute 44 1-7-1. Peter Samo will take that down, but Eduardo in the Porsche will take that down with a 1:43.011. Great qualifying times coming up so far. Eamon Nasseir, home man here today. He's got a special livery out here as the Chevrolet of Ilham Lesmana goes up to second position in the Chevrolet. So far, great times. Here comes Daniel Santos. Ignore the name where there's Danny. There's two Dannys in this race, but the Ferrari, the GTE class Danny, that is Daniel Santos. Ooh, he goes a little bit off the track, tries to get one more corner going on to the front straight once now more. Two sectors, completely purple. Lacey Fancher in the sister Ferrari is just going to get out the way for the Falcon GP Pro, and that is going to cost him in the third sector. Regan Milana is saying that we did have some wheel disconnectivity issues going on in one of the chicanes that may have clogged up one of the apexes. We have 5 minutes left. So 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left. We'll let you know when the virtual checkered flag is out. So far, a fantastic qualifying here as Eduardo just takes it to the pits. They only have 10 minutes out here on track, and then it's going to swap to the LMP2. So don't worry about those Orcas who are sitting from P16 to P21. They'll be out there shortly. Take a look at those tires. Pretty interesting out there. Only guy on the medium compound is Miro Rodribi. Now, shame we couldn't see him last week out at the Belgium Grand Prix. It was his home race after all. Had some issues, but we're happy to see him here racing in his debut for the championship, teaming up with your champion of last series, that is the TCR World Series 1x1, Peter Samo, who currently sits down into 7th position. Tazayaki goes in a personal best. However, nothing can be writ home about. He's currently sitting P6, trouble in the background for one of the Fords of the debuting Jose, the Brazilian, in the Ford GT. And he is trying to get grips of the Ford. He's been having a little bit of struggles throughout practice. Hopefully he can get that stuff sorted out. 90 minutes of racing coming up, but we still have qualifying left to go to find out who's going to take pole position. But right now, we can say a first-time driver on pole at the moment in the Porsche, the Alpha Corsa driver. As Peter Samo heads off the circuit, avoids these sausage curbs that could do a lot of damage onto your car. Most important part, here they come heading into the chicane now. Hard on the brakes for both of them. You can take a lot more than you think over those sausage curbs. You want to avoid that bollard though on the inside initial turn in. Taking a look at those sectors, you see some green sectors coming from Lesmana and Rodribi. So good times out there so far. We look here at the Team Falcon Shift Amateur, the AM team. They have their pro driver, Daniel Santos, up in the second position at the moment. But currently that gap, 5/10 from pole. Let's head to Miro now. He looks like he's about to complete his lap time. He's got the 2 Ravazzas left to go here. Let's swap angles here as he takes into the first Ravazza on board now, but goes way too deep. And he's going to lose all that time that he gained in the first 2 sectors. Gets onto the final curb, and, well, all that time that you've worked so hard for, it's going to go down the drain. It's a bit of a shame for him on that lap. Who else do we have finishing up a lap time that could be at a potential improvement? 17 minutes, 26 seconds left to go for the entirety of qualifying, but these GTE cars do have about 2.5 minutes left to go. So it's coming down to crunch time here, and we're still finding out who is taking pole position. Danny will bottle in this one. Well, we'll find out, Adam, what goes on here. If we're going to see any sort of bottles, but one driver who's not bottling it is Peter Sabot. He took pole position last week out at the Belgium Grand Prix. What an incredible 90 minutes of racing that was. With a late race caution, it really juggled all the drivers up towards the end of it. But 4/10 faster as he goes 2 wheels over. That's going to ruin his lap time. He took way too much curb. And he wheelies it over the second sausage curb of the short chute through the chicane. Gonna lose a heap of time. It's an invalid lap time, we believe. He's gonna continue around, finish up this lap, and gonna try for one more attempt. That is not what he wanted. We're taking a look at his delta. He's still up, so we're gonna find out, is it potentially still gonna be pole despite the 2 wheels going off track? Here we go, across the line. Is it a valid one? Is it pole? No. He stays P8, so yes, that 4/10 he lost there. 43.499. Daniel Santos, however, he's not playing. He is faster now as we catch him through Aqua Mineral, heading up the hill now into the short chute. Cannot make the same mistake as Sabot did just earlier. To the chicane now. How does he take it? Looks pretty good. Slides the rear, however. Saves it. Bit of a snap. Loses 2/10 in the process. Desperation in the final 42 seconds of qualifying. And Santos just has the double left to go here. Driving for the Falcon Shift Pro team. And he races onto the front straight. Here comes Daniel Santos. What can he do? The number 20 Ferrari as he comes across the line. Is it going to be improvement from his 3rd place? It is, and he's on the front row for the rolling start. In the GTE class, he goes to 2nd, 10 seconds left to go. P13, that's Layla. She's going to come across the line, followed by the 2nd female driver in CMRSC. That's going to be it. All right, virtual checkered flag out, virtual checkered flag out. If you're already crossed over the start-finish line past that 15-minute mark, you're free to continue your lap. If not, please teleport to the pits. So the drivers now in overtime here as Regan Milana in the taxi goes pole position. 142.992. Pulled it out of nowhere, and the taxi's on pole. Couple drivers left to come across. That's your man who was just on pole earlier. Eduardo cannot do anything. It's 2 Porsches on pole. The taxi has pulled it off out of absolute thin air with an amazing performance. You take a look at those sectors. It's green. It was just personal improvement. It is not overall improvements. A fantastic pole position coming from the Porsche driver, Regan Milana. Incredible effort from him, but still 2 cars left to go. Bite your tongue, because Santos has gone quicker in the middle sector, but we first watch Kasper Tazayaki as he races to the front straight. He's looking pretty positive on this lap time. Could bring some trouble. 3/10 faster as he heads across the line. Is it gonna be pole position for him? He goes 3rd. 1 driver to go. Daniel Santos, who goes purple in the middle sector. 42.992 to beat, and he smashes it out the park with a pole position. Wow, Daniel Santos on pole with a 142.838. If that is not an incredible qualifying to give us a deserving subscriber like on the stream, I don't know what is. That was an incredible qualifying to those drivers. Holy, let's catch our breaths now, and let's get ready for the LMP2 starting in 3 minutes time. Very exciting qualifying coming up to the end there. Congratulations.
your top three: Daniel Santos, Regan Romana, Eduardo Brito. That was a very great qualifying, guys. So once again now, this is now time for the LMP2s. They will come out at the 10-minute mark. Now, do not jump that. You'll gain a 5-second time penalty if you jump the 10-minute mark. At exact 10 minute, you can jump out of your pit lane. Out of your pit box, my apologies. So at 10 minutes, the LMP2s, you may leave your pit box. Until then, you cannot leave your pit box. GTEs, your qualifying is complete. Please stay in your pit box. Once again, though, great qualifying, guys. So that's going to do it here for the GTE qualifying. We have 2 minutes left to go before we get to the start of LMP2. Let's take a look at those cars here. We got a couple minutes to spare here. Let's take a look at these fantastic liveries here coming from the Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club Army. And let's start off with the man at the key of the pit lane, Christian Ramau, who took pole position, a surprise pole position out of nowhere. Got a fantastic livery here. Followed by Anna Adam, Mike Van Dorn, Maximilian Fleer, Danny Nasseir, Lucas Smith. Then we get to some GTE cars. We have Layla, Eduardo, Miro, Juan, Casper, Ilham, Lacey, Regan, Nixon, Eamon, our man on GTE pole, Daniel Santos, Paulo, George, Peter, and Jose. Great field of drivers. And we're going to get ready for qualifying for the GTE class. Oh, my apologies, the LMP2 class. We're already out of breath. We just got the show started here. But 35 seconds left to go till the green light is off and qualifying begins for the LMP2 cars. You can hit that subscribe button to be able to join us in the live chat. Here we go. 15 seconds left to go before the green light is underway. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green light, green light, green light, green light. Qualifying underway for the LMP2s. There we go. So, if you love GTE qualifying, you are going to love the LMP2s as they're going to tear this circuit up way faster. A lot more downforce they're holding on to. So it's going to be a really interesting qualifying now to see who is going to take the top spot. And let's look at the driver who's at the top of this queue, and let's talk about him for a moment. Mike Van Dorn took the race win. A late race VSC helped in his favor and took victory. The Dutchman is currently on the top of the point standings. Actually, we take a look at those point standings here at the moment. Let's actually take a look at the big screen and take a look at all these points here going on. So, starting off with our GTE class, it's Eamon who won that race after penalties, followed by Eduardo and Regan. So that's your GTEs for the driver's standings. Here are the team standings that they're looking at. Spirit Racing, topping it, of course, followed by Esquima and a freaking taxi. Yeah, that's his team name. That's pretty awesome there. Let's take a look at the LMP class now, followed by Mike Van Dorn, Christian Ramau, and Maximilian Fleer. So, you take a look at those drivers there. Van Dorn is that main man to top in this qualifying session. He didn't take pole position. Pole is going to be worth 1 point. And taking a look at those team standings, finally, Falcon Shift X, Show Me Your Heart, SMYH. Well, without further ado, it's now time to find out what the drivers are going to be chasing down, starring Mike Van Dorn, the Dutchman. We're on board with him. So flat out into this first little kink of the left, and then we're going to be braking at the 100-meter marker. Once again, avoiding those curbs. But once you get the left-hander finished, it's just flat out on the throttle. But that's one of the things you have to avoid. Touching another curb is going to rotate the rear. Into the left, flick it into the right of Villeneuve, and Van Doorn's having a very scruffy lap out there. Currently setting purple, though. However, could be taken down. If anybody behind him could set a better first sector, and it is by Christian Ramau. So Van Doorn off to a rocky start. Flick to the left. You're going to be punching the throttle down, and then heading into Aqua Mineral. Double right-hander for him. First one, straighten it out into the second part. Avoid those sausage curbs. Once again, the rear end is going to tend to flick out. These drivers are running a fixed setup. All the LMP2 cards, they can only change brake bias, brake pressure, fuel, tires. And that's about it, if I'm not missing any other detail. But Van Doorn and all these drivers are on equal footing here, as Christian Ramau so far purple in the second sector, as Van Doorn still trying to lace up this lap. Around the final corner, there he goes past our screens. Beautiful exit back onto the main straight, followed by Lucas Smith. Two Dutch drivers gonna head to the line, but it's gonna be Van Doorn, and the drivers are going to be chasing down a 1 minute 32.390. But we're gonna quickly shift our focus to Christian Ramau, who could put this one on provisional pole right away early on in this qualifying session, and he does. 32.070. So first sets of lap times being complete here, as well as Anna Adam, who's going to shuffle up to second position, 32.319. So 6 LMP2 cars here for today. No sight of Klaus Klint and Jaden Harrison. And the paddock is very spicy right now, as they're going for they're voting for their favorite drivers right now. They're voting for Anna Adam to take the pole, and right now, he's going purple in the first sector. Who do you think is taking pole position? Leave it in the live chat below. Who is taking pole for the second round? It's only a 4-round championship, one of the more shorter championships in CMRSC. But 90 minutes of racing is going to give you plenty of time to really give us a real shakeup in this first ever endurance championship. In the 4 years CMRSC has ever existed, never have we ever seen this kind of championship. I believe somebody ahead of Anna Adam just took it to the pits. Yes, they did. I think that was Christian Ramau. It is. Now, Anna Adam has 2 quarters to navigate. The first Ravazza, followed by the second Ravazza. He's missed out on the first apex, but has nailed it, and great exit from him. And here comes Anna Adam racing to the line, 32.070 to beat, and the Canadian is going to come across the line and smash it out the park, 31.745. So provisional goes to Anna Adam with 4 minutes 45 seconds left to go, continuing to count down. Chat is saying Ramau for pole position. Now it's a great pick. He did take pole in a surprising final lap, similar to what we just saw with Daniel Santos. So it'll be very interesting to see if there is a potential chance at a surprise pole position. Adam takes it to the pits. Ramau on track. And warming up his tires very aggressively, trying to get some precious temperatures in those soft compounds, or should I say medium compounds, as Van Doorn slides the rear end and hits the sausage curb, desperately able to get it slowed down and not touching the wall. The LMP2s only have 1 compound set to work with, so it really is the closest class you can get in terms of all of these guys being very equal. But the GTE guys, those are the complete open setup. Now, as we watch the German driver of Maximilian Fleer from Spirit Racing, he's teaming up with his fellow Spirit Racing drivers, Eamon Espear and Lacey Fancher. As well as we do have another new driver that I do not think we have seen at the moment yet, but Fleer's going to go up to 5th position, so improving that lap time. Ooh, very, very, very near incident there, as Van Doorn wanted to get off the racing line and does so. But as it stands right now, quiet qualifying session in the final 3 minutes and 10 seconds, as it is still Anna Adam on pole. Nobody yet has challenged that top 2, maybe top 3 as well. It's kind of stayed the same after the first bits of qualifying times have been laid out. As Van Doren still struggling for rear grip, even exiting out pit lane, not looking as well for him. Adam is going to come across the line to start another lap time as Ramau is already firmly on this lap. 25.379 to beat in the first sector. Can he do it as he enters Villeneuve? Great entry in the first part, breaking a straight line, swing it over to the right-hand side, use all the exit curb, and he's just a 10th. 136 just down on the first sector. Now heading up the hill, pass through Tosa. Heading up, and he's got to beat off a 1 minute 6:05 pause as Ramau heads into the left-hander. Ramau now heading into Aqua Mineral. Double right-hander for him. Hits the first curve very aggressively, and as I suspected, took way too much heat going off the track. That's going to ruin his chances of another potential lap to take down Anna Adam. And Ramau is struggling here to get any sort of lap down. Now, here comes Anna Adam. And he's been confident all week long. He loves Imola. He was vouching a lot for the 2025 curbings. We did have some issues, so we're resorting to last year's curbs with some of the sausage curb placement. So you can't take the curbs as aggressively as drivers in the real world, for example, Formula 1 were taking through the Italian Grand Prix, or should I say the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. I am so sorry for any Italian I've just offended in chat. But as we continue this qualifying session on swiftly pushing that under the rug, Anna Adam has unfortunately lost some time in the second sector, and he's gone down to a 33.229, so he's not improved this lap. Truly a quiet qualifying session here, but can anybody give us a surprise coming to the end? We're going to take a look at live delta times here to see if there's any chances. We watch Van Doren come across sector 2, 3/10 down. So still nothing can be done. Lucas Smith could be on a potential lap time as well. We're going to follow these two Dutch drivers here as they race to the line, but they have to go through Ravazza first. Once again, purple sector for Anna Adam as Van Doren once again off the track in the same part, exiting the first Ravazza. Little slide there from Lucas Smith behind him, and behind him, Fleer looking a lot more cleaner through that corner. Expect a good time from him. Ramau purple in the second sector, and now Fleer goes up, does not improve, but Van Doren, actually he did improve. He put down Christian Ramau, but here comes Anna Adam. The Canadian now has 2 corners to navigate. And potentially this could extend his pole position. Checkered flag waves out to all the drivers here in the LMP2 class. 2 corners to go for Anna Adam. Make that 1 corner to go and 1 long straight. Beautiful exit there from him in the LMP2 car. Racing to the line. Anna Adam is going to smash his previous lap time out the park with a 1 minute 30. 1:4:01. That's pole. Now, is there any way any of the other drivers have another word at it? Van Doren's taking it to the pits. He's done. Christian Ramau, maybe your last hope at a potential faster driver to take home pole. He short shifts it through first sector. I think he's lifting off this one. His qualifying looks to be complete. Lucas Smith now. Any chance he could do anything? He's a second off as he exits out the first sector. Trouble as he's still trying to get grips of the car. Danny Nasseir, he's already done. He's sitting P6. And Lucas Smith, can anything be done? Potentially take down the German ahead of him for the second row on track. And here we go, coming across the line. 31.401 to beat. Can he at least take down maybe a 31.905? Racing to the line. 32s, 33s, almost. Not quite, actually. 32.778. Any driver left for a lap? I think that is potentially qualifying done here. And it should be. Yes, it is. So that is qualifying. So congratulations, your top 3 there. Adam, Van Doren, Ramau. So Daniel, yeah, don't worry about the name change. I think that's just an error on the server on my end. I don't know why it auto-corrected to that, but not to worry. That's no issue. All right, other than that, great qualifying, everyone. We're going to get into racing now. So you're going to notice that it's actually an hour 33 minutes instead of an hour 30 minutes. The extra 3 minutes is for a rolling start. Once the 5 lights go out, we're going to go a maximum of 100 kilometers around the circuit. You have 2 minutes and 20 seconds until you must hit the drive button on your screen. From there, it's going to be a rolling start. For all drivers who were here in the last round, it is the exact same procedure. For any of our new drivers here, procedure is pretty simple. Once the lights go out, we are not racing. We are going around the entirety of the lap just once. We're going to be rolling at a maximum of 100 kilometers. We're going to keep 2 by 2. Server is set to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're going to have 12 hours of simulated time racing here. Just want to go over any of the couple of updates that you may have missed. The VSC procedure has slightly changed. We're going to make sure that all lap drivers are through, and we're going to get them properly formatted. The final 15 minutes, we're going to speed up the process, and we're going to close pit lane if VSCs come out. 8 minutes or less, there will be no virtual safety cars from that point. So driver's still sitting. There are also no VSCs called out if there's a lap 1 incident and any restart incidents. All incidents are going to be looked at the end of the race. If you have anything you want us to look at, please submit it through our report an incident channel in the Discord server. Other than that, 90 minutes of racing, rolling start. All VSCs and race starts will be called out by race director. I will be letting everyone know when we go green. We're going to try to utilize a real penalty for the virtual safety car lights on your screen. So keep an eye out on that. If not, don't worry about it. But if you just don't get scared if you hear a loud beeping noise coming from real penalty. 38 seconds left to go. Really important. Make sure to hit that drive button. There's no mandatory stops. Best of luck here for the race. 90 minutes of action. We have 3 minutes of a rolling start. And once again, the top 2 drivers who are the P1 and P2 in the LMP2, so you're going to be setting the pace at 100 kilometers. Drivers behind, please keep 100 or less. Best of luck. So here we go. Once again, another day of racing here in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Those lights are going to go out, and we are going to get underway here for the rolling start. Here we go. So it's now the calm before the storm here, ladies and gentlemen. This is where all the drivers have worked their hard work over the 7 days leading up to race day. It's all for this moment here. Let's see if we can get rid of those yellow flags, and we have. Pretty beautiful. Just gonna do some audio checks on server side here, making sure everything's good. Their hard work over the 7. So apologies for the bit of echo there. All right, let's get this underway here. Rolling start here in this one. Drivers eager to wait for the checkered flag at the end, but in order to get there, you must survive turn 1 and the many turns this 90 minutes is going to produce. Now, Spa produced 1 late virtual safety car. With a short circuit like this, we could expect more incidents on track. But no matter what, we should be in store. There's no weaving, no weaving. Just want to let everyone know that. If you need the reminder now, we're telling you it. It is once and once only. Apologies, I should have told you guys that at on the grid. No weaving whatsoever. You're going to get a time penalty and a penalty point if you're caught doing so. If you were just doing it just a second ago, no more weaving anymore. I'm going to give you that one little break, but there's no more weaving. It's a time penalty and a penalty point. It's very important. Do not weave. So through Aqua Mineral, very slow, the drivers are going to go. Beautiful line of cars here today for this race. So it's Anna Adam against Mike Van Doorn at the top. As all the drivers kind of get shuffled around as we get started with this one. If you're enjoying Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to get racing underway here today. And very soon as the drivers head around the final corner. All right, we're going to wait till all drivers enter the front straight. So 2 by 2, 2 by 2, catch up to the pack, catch up to the pack. Catch up to the pack. We're going to wait. We're waiting. We're waiting. Wait on my cue. Wait on my cue. Here we go. Let's get the Italian Grand Prix underway here for the first round. Complete the second round. About to get underway. Green flag, green flag, green flag. Underway here, and we're underway racing at Imola. Great start from Adam, but Mike Van Doorn is going to want to take the advantage from his teammate as they head into turn one. There's a crash in the background for one of the Chevrolets. May collect one of his other teammates. 2 cars were collected, but lap 1 is not going to produce any sort of restarts. It's Van Doorn who takes the lead, followed by Anna Adam, who is in trouble now because Lucas Smith is following just behind them now as they go through Villeneuve. Let's take a look at the GTE class. As Daniel Santos leads us off, followed by Eduardo, and then it's Regan Milana, followed by Juan Carlos. Back up to the order now, side by side, Lucas Smith against Anna Adam. Anna has gone for the front row, and he's going to shuffle down to third place. Side by side, almost he backs up. Christian Ramal's there, and trouble. Christian Ramal taps and spins round Anna Adam. Hard racing at the start. And now poor Anna Adam is going to try to have to go around through this order. He's got a couple GTE cars to navigate. But as it stands for the front, Mike Van Doorn's gone through. Contact and drama at the start as Ramal makes contact and he allows Fleer to go through. Shuffling over to the rear end. Anna Adam's done a brilliant job of trying to shuffle through the order, and he's got back through Daniel Santos. Luckily for him, it's the same paint scheme, so he knows that Santos is not going to give him much trouble. As they come around the final corner, heading on to the start-finish line, we begin 90 proper minutes of racing. Green flag out, and any incident now could cause a virtual safety car. So, lovely start here. Couple incidents in the back. Couple drivers got it all wrong, including, looks like maybe Dominic Mazzuzzo, Stephen Bolla's down there. Couple of drivers heading into the pits very early on. Could be damage. Is there damage? Yes, there is. And Nixon is crabbing that car back into pits. And take a look at this. Mike Van Doorn and Luca Smith. Luca drifting that car through Tosa. And Luca Smith's going to want a chance at taking the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Very exciting stuff. Meanwhile, trouble for GTE race leader Daniel Santos. He's in the grass, side by side with Mira Wadribi. Eamon Nasseir is also spun in on Tosa. He gets back going. Carnage ensues off the hairpin. It's 3 wide ahead. Take a look at this. It's not going to end great if not one person backs off, and one does. It's Carlos who goes through, followed by Santos, who Santos takes back third place in the GTE category. Behind them, Lacey's going through as Adam has got past Danny Nasseir for 5th. It's all kicking off now. We take a look back here. Let's go on board with Lesmana. He's actually got side by side with the driver at home as Fleer and Max. Oh, there's contact. Lesmana's off the circuit through the chicane. Lots of carnage. Luckily, he's out the way. And we continue this one. Anna Adam has set down the fastest lap of the race. That's going to be good for him. But the carnage and hard-fought battling still continues right now, because as they exit out the final corner, we have a great couple of cars here battling out. We have Lacey, we have Juan, who's that? Paulo, followed by Eamon. And behind them, Peter Samo trying to make through the traffic. You see his interior. He looks pretty good. No damage is done there, but 2 tenths between P1 and P2. It's one of those moments that you wish we had 2 cameras to watch this incredible racing all throughout the order. However, there is trouble for one of the cars here. Nixon, he's on the apex. The Trini gets out the way desperately as Miro and Danny Santos goes through Tosa. And Miro really putting on some great pressure on the driver who took pole position. Once again, take a look at this action back here as you see Nixon off the track once again. Lap car, but it's really going to be tough racing through here. On board with Ladino as Juan chasing down in the Ferrari. Great exit from him as they head into Aqua Mineral. Adams got the move done on Fleer. And in fact, Rahul has gone backwards because he's made a mistake on the track. Danny Nasseir goes past him as well. Something's gone horribly wrong for him. We head back to this battle here as they go through the short chicane there. It's single file. They all funnel through and exiting out, but take a look at this, side by side. Lucas Smith, Mike Van Dorn through Villeneuve. Oh, little off the track goes Van Dorn, he loses the place. Lucas Smith is your new race leader in the prototype class, drifts it through Tosa for style points, gets the lead from a struggling Van Dorn through Villeneuve. Take a look down the order, it's Eduardo on the top here for GTE, followed by Rick and Milana. Then, it's Danny Santos, Lacey Fancher. Behind them, we also see some side-by-side racing between Miro and Juan through turn 1 of Tamburello. And Juan's got the move done. And meanwhile, Van Dorn's got it back because Lucas spun round. Lucas spun round on the exit of Aqua Mineral. He's dropped down the order. And what in the world has happened to the driver who was holding the race lead? Might have went a little too deep at Aqua Mineral. One thing's for sure, there is so much to talk about. And we are only, what, 7 minutes into this race? That is chaos here, and the chaos is going to continue for an extra hour and 23 minutes. Sit back and relax. It's going to be awesome here as Rahul gets the move passed on Danny Nasseir. And he's got going. Anna Adams crossed over the line as there's trouble through the order here. Who is it? It's Juan Carlos. In the gravel trap, can he escape out? Accelerating just about able and doesn't get stuck in the gravel. Very important there. Loses the position to Tazayaki, and that order he was in, this racing up here for 4th position is, not 4th, 6th position as Paulo goes through, and up ahead you see Eamon battling against Lacey, teammates of Spirit Racing's GTE category. And they're both looking good. Mike Van Dorn, with that mistake from Lucas Smith, put himself up real far up as Lucas Smith's got the move done on Fleer as Eamon is going to play nice with his teammate and his girlfriend. Those two are together, so as we watch Luca going through the chicane, he's got the move done on Fleer. He's back up to 3rd, and Anna Adam, who made a mistake early on, is up into 2nd place. So with all the incidents going on in the LMP2 class, it's really shuffled everyone up as there may be some trouble up Tosa as Sabo is trying to get past Ladino. As Ladino falls back on Miro, as Miro was trying to chase down Eamon, as Eamon now may have the chance on his teammate now, the Italian on home ground. Crowd's gonna love him. P11 overall, switches to the inside of Aqua Mineral. Great move there from Eamon Aspear, and he's got it done. Lacey's been left in the dust, and not gonna be helpful because behind is the BMW of Rajwibi. The Belgian driver making headlines in his country as being a very quick driver. One of the top drivers from Belgium, and you're looking at him right now in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Only the best of the best race here. As Sabo and Lesmana moves are being made through there. As Miro trying to look for a move on Lacey. And is going to get a sweet move there because Lacey makes a mistake through the first Ravazza. And not going to help. Goes wide a little bit more. And the teammate of Miro is going to go through P13 overall. Lacey falling down the order. It may not be over for her yet. The nightmare continues. Ilham goes up. One little mistake, dropping a tire off the track. That's going to cost you. Here we go. Daniel Santos against Regan Milana. Taxi against Falcon Shift Pro. Through Villeneuve. Good exit there from Regan. Holding on. That's what's more important. Into Tosa. And I think Regan's just worrying about defense right now. He's 5 seconds off from Eduardo. So he's got to really focus up on these cars up through here. As now we head through the quick left-hander flick and we head down into Aqua Mineral. Fastest lap traded once again to Christian Ramau. No point for him, but here comes Santos as he goes down the inside to potentially take second place in the GT category. And is there any space for him to go through at all? Not at the moment. As they go through the chicane, very aggressive and too much sausage curb, and that's going to drop down Regan down the order. Meanwhile, we also have a move here. Lucas Smith and Christian Ramau side by side through Tosa. And now Ramau tucks in, looks to the outside. It's going to be squeezed a little bit. Door may be closed. Oh, switches into the inside. Lucas Smith, Christian Ramau side by side. The Aqua Mineral contact is made. Lucas Smith making a little contact, and Lucas gonna touch the grass on the outside, losing some time. He's gonna shuffle down behind Christian Ramau. Trouble for Nixon, retiring from the race. Got hit by Jose, and it's gonna be a retirement because of the damaged suspension. That's a huge shame for Nixon. In the early goings of this race, one retirement down in this one. Looks like we're down to 20 drivers. And oh, Lucas got a mistake once again, loses out through Ravazza, and lots of time is lost there. A couple of drivers are starting to spread out, but a track that's this short, you're always going to get some battles, unlike the previous round at Spa. Up to Tosa. Into the left-hander. Lucas Smith in for his pit stop. As Peter Sabo's got a fantastic run on the exit. Trying to follow through with his teammate up the road. Side by side. Porsche, BMW. And Sabo's going to make a fantastic move on the inside. But goes a bit wide. And Paulo may be thinking of a retaliation through Aqua Mineral. Is there a chance? All over the rear. Through the second part of Aqua Mineral. Gotta get it right, but almost hits the sausage curb. And now here comes Paulo side by side and gets the move done. That momentum is gonna cost you big time. Through these sausage curbs and exiting out. And Paulo is gonna land that spot, P12. P6 overall for the Brazilian, P7 for the Hungarian of Peter Sabo, your last champion in CMRSC through the TCR World Series. Ilham Lesmana next up for the taking. In the Corvette, once again, one of my more favorite cars to listen to on board. I can listen to this one on loop all day long. Jan Martinborough, eat your heart out with Kenny G. We have the Corvette provided to us from Assetto Corsa and AC Friends. As Peter Sabo follows through Tosa against Paulo, as that one continues, Christian Ramau has now found himself the clutches of Fleer. And as that happens, the leaders have now caught up to the tail end of the GTE category. And we can actually swap through to this battle up here as Sabo getting through. Oh, goodness! Peter Sabo trying to get through, trying to get out the way. And it's so tight. Through Villeneuve, luckily able to go through. Local yellows on track for one of the Fords, and he's off the circuit. Now there won't be a VSC called if he's out of harm's way, which he is at the moment. As Van Doren continues to travel through the order, gets through desperately. Now here comes Anna Adam. Looks like that car got out the way as I think that was Ilham. Yes, he got it wrong through Aqua Mineral into the chicane. Now he gets out the way. 2 wheels over the sausage curb. Very slow through there. Has lost about 1.5 seconds to the cars up ahead. Meanwhile, Rahul may be able to use this traffic to his advantage because he's got the better run heading into the Ravazza. Does he make the move? The dive bomb early on. No, he makes it as wide as possible heading into the first Ravazza. Lacey Fancher up ahead. That's going to be Max's teammate up the road. And can she get up the way? Stays under the right-hand side of the track. Christian Rao's going to take the slipstream and is going to continue taking the slipstream, but Max is going to have the slipstream onto the next Corvette up the road, but I don't think it's going to matter because the overspeed of Christian Raoul is going to take him to the outside. Can he complete the move through to Tamarello? Yes, he will. That's the move done. Oh, there's trouble up the road for Ladino. Ladino, my apologies. Gets out the way, the Brazilian in the Porsche, sticks onto the left-hand side as they enter into Villeneuve. Now, Fleer has a potential chance of trying to get back through into Villeneuve itself, but unfortunately cannot get it done, even though Christian Raoul goes a little bit wide, going up to Tosa now. The next car to overtake now is going to be Peter Sabot. They're almost through the traffic. You take a look at that track map, and you see Mike Van Dorn is up to P3, and now going to have P2 as there's maybe trouble there for Regan Milana just off the track through. Aqua Mineral gets it going, and Adam's gonna go through and take a look at that gap. 5.1 seconds the difference as Fleer has a little bit of trouble overtaking Sabot. Gets going. That's gonna be good on his part. Through the chicane, slow and steady, and exits out. Next up, Christian Raoul's going to have to navigate past Eamon Asbir and gets through because Eamon's going to get right out the way, helping out Christian, try to extend this gap. Or if I was Eamon, maybe I would have played a little nice and been a little hard on the LMP2 of Christian Raoul and help my teammate in the other category, potentially holding him up, but being a good sport there, and I think that's the better thing to do. 10 concurrent viewers, thank you so much for tuning in to Caribbean Motor Racing Simple Up. If you are enjoying the action here today, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the stream if you're liking it. Next week out, we head to America. Happy post 4th of July for any of our Americans in the chat. No American round this round, but next round we're going to head to Road America. Would have been fitting if we had it for this round, wouldn't you say? Missed opportunity. Chat is saying, come on, Max, I know you can do it. Max is just 4.2 off. However, with this traffic, it's truly anybody's game. Here we have a move here between one and Hall. And George Hall is not going to put that much of a defense in the Corvette. E16 is going to come through now over. Oh, there you see Danny Nasseir passing our screens. Danny is ahead of Lucas Smith, who Luca took his pit stop early on, so early strategy call from him. It'll be very interesting in the late haul of this race if it's going to be anything to write home about. Meanwhile, Anna Adam going through now. And there you see him. You see Van Doren up the road looking for a potential chance at getting this one. Take a little sip of water here. This is some incredible racing. If you're enjoying the action, once again, please hit that subscribe button. And thank you so much once again for 1,500. I think 510 subscribers we're at. It means a lot. Next goal, 2,000 subscribers. Can we hit that before the end of the year? That's going to be our goal, 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much again for all the incredible support you've given us throughout the 3.5 years of CMRSC. Now, it's got a little bit calm here, and that's only because pit stops are about to get underway. So fuel saving is starting to creep up to all these drivers, realizing that you're going to have to pit very soon. Do you decide to push it out now or to fuel save? Because fuel saving is going to be the ultimate best answer, but you're going to lose a lot of time overall. But we have over 70 minutes left to go of racing, so still anybody's game in this early stage. Still potential chance for potential cautions to come out through this one. Lacey going up through Tosa, following Ladino.
Move being made here to Corvettes, as I think Hall could have made a mistake through there. I'm not too sure, as Miro, I think, also took a pit stop. I'm going to take a look through here officially. So, yes, Miro and Luca Smith are the only two drivers who have made a pit stop in this one. As Anna Adam, now that's interesting, sets the fastest lap of the race. And he's making it apparent now that he is hunting down Van Dorn, and he's coming in fast. Tosa just has to overtake Steven Bola in the Ford GT, and he stays to the left-hand side of the circuit. Entering into Villeneuve. So purple third sector for Anna Adam. He's quicker in the final sector. Bit of grass kicked up through there, and you see a lot of that grass and gravel that's kicked up back onto the circuit. But the more these cars run through that section, it's going to start to brush away. Meanwhile, 3.7 seconds, you see your GTE race leader, Eduardo Burrito. He's up there. And Daniel Santos, nicknamed Danny for today. That's what the community calls him. And for some reason, our server did not fully confirm his name properly, so he's just running under the name Danny here today. But as we continue this race off, Peter Sabot has entered the chance to overtake for overall P10 between himself and the man here at his home Grand Prix, Eamon Esper, rocking a custom livery there, the black and Italian flag there. Love it, and it's a shame we can only see it for one race here, and then it'll return back to this classic gray livery. It's gray and blue, as here we see that BMW trying to look for a move on the outside, but just no room to put any sort of BMW through there. Little twitch coming from Eamon Esper through Aqua Mineral, but Eamon doing a fantastic job of keeping this one alive. Through the quick chicane, navigating past the bollard, exiting out, both of them squirming. And able to accelerate out, still keeping that natural distance of about 4/10 between each other. Still pit lane is open for the taking. Nobody has come in yet. Ever since, trouble here, ever since Miro and Lucas side by side, Peter Sabot is going to overtake Eamon Esper. Eamon's going to pick up a little bit of damage, tapping the side of Peter Sabot, but Peter's got the move done. But for how long? Was that a premature move? Because Eamon, with the slipstream, is going to go for a move to the inside. Doors closed. Peter, brilliant defense. And now to the outside. Is there a chance for the man at home to get back this position on the outside of Tosa? Gets it done, but over under. Peter Sabot's going to take it to the outside, past the Senna Memorial, going up to Villeneuve, and Peter Sabot is going to get back that move. Fantastic racing, but behind them, Lucas Smith is coming up fast. Up to Tosa now, and Eamon trying to find some sort of move. We're going to go on board with Lucas Smith. He's got these two cars to overtake, and he's going to do that on the inside, and luckily for Eamon, he's going to play nice, but it's going to block the initial turn-in for Peter Sabot, and it's not going to help his case. Peter runs wide. Soft compound tires, interesting to note for some of the drivers throughout the pack, and the rest going for more longer runs. Kasper Tesayaki, we believe, is coming in for a pit stop. Yes, he is. As we continue to watch this fantastic battle between Ferrari against BMW. Through the chicane, this is, of course, your battle for fourth place in the GTE class. The GT class, of course. 1 hour, 7 minutes left to go. Still plenty of time for things to go down here in this race, that's for sure. But both of them on the same compound of tires. It really could make or break the difference of pit stop strategies. As it stands, you see Bola coming into the pits, making his stop for fuel. The fuel is nowhere able to make it to the very end. These drivers could probably do about 15 to 20 minutes on a full tank until they have to come in. And we're just about entering that point. In fact, we're actually going a little bit over because we did have that rolling start, of course. But looks like Sabot has been able to get that move done. Pits continue to look busy as Bola now starts to exit out of his box. Now, let's look down the order here because Christian Ramau
has got himself Anna Adam. Looks like Adam may have made a mistake somewhere in this race because he was setting fast laps and had Mike Van Doren pretty close. But now Christian Ramau has really turned it up and probably on the low fuel now, realizing he's going to make a pit stop soon. Let's try to push now. Could be an in lap as well. So let's watch this battle here. Anna Adam, faster driver and the fastest throughout the week of practice. And he's one of the main guys to beat, but as it stands right now, after taking pole position, lost down the pack, incident early on in the Grand Prix. There's trouble for George Hall. George is stopped on the exit off the circuit. It was a little bit tough there. Little tough there at the moment as they went through Aquaman around. George, that was good, but try your best to stay within track limits and be a little more predictable off the racing line. That was fine there, but just try your best next time. So just a little warning there from George because that was very close. That is a hard exit there that the drivers are not necessarily expecting. As Van Doren continues to lead this Italian Grand Prix. And Eduardo also leading this race. A little bit cloudy at this part of the circuit. Yeah, the sun's not really coming up as much as they enter in through Aqua Mineral. Trouble for Ilham. Oh, trouble! What is going on here? Lesmana off the circuit. Is there a need to take it to the pits? George Hall in. Oh, well, it's going to be fairly tough. And I think he's safe. And he's going to get exiting out as Max is going to go through on the outside. Scary, very scary there, but let's try to take a look at the hood. Yeah, it's not attached. There's also trouble up the road for Layla. Layla had some issues at the Belgium Grand Prix. Now, normally, if it's anything to go by from last week, when one random incident goes off on one part of the circuit, sometimes there's something else that goes off at the other part of the circuit. And I think we're finding it right now because Eamon, as Daniel Santos gets a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. So that makes two drivers, himself and George Hall. And as that all goes on, and Adam is not getting the best of luck with traffic because Christian Ramau is now all over the rear of the Canadian. Does Adam take it to the pits? If I were him, I'd just dart it into the pits right now. Let's just get some new tires. He's running deep. Trying to go through as best as he can. Gets through, and none of them enter the pits. This could be a potential chance. Anna Adam going to be overtaking Fancher on the front straight, as well as Ramau. Slipstreaming as they head into Tosa. Is there a potential chance of a move onto the outside? Darts it. Ramau is there. Forces himself through. Little tight squeeze off the circuit. And Christian Ramau's going to be raising his hands. He's going to be like, you got to leave the space. All the time you have to leave a space. Waving his car, you see. He's visibly upset after that one. Keep it cool. Keep it easy. As one Fable race engineer would tell Felipe Massa, keep it cool. Because you are still right there for the taking. And Anna Adam is not going to make it easy whatsoever. Anna Adam idolizing Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton of CMRSC, he calls himself. Number 44 as well. Oh, it goes a little bit wide. Christian Ramau, the Brazilian, just about darting out the way. Losing out that part of the circuit into the chicane. As Smith and Danny Nasseir, a little bit of trouble here. As Smith got going, Danny is far up the road. I don't know what that could have potentially been, but there was damage between the both of them. Lucas now caught up. He's 7 seconds behind Danny all of a sudden. Pit lane continuing to be more busy for the GTE class, but the LMP2s, other than Luca, still out there and still racing. Here we go. Back once again. Christian Ramau against Anna Adam. Is there a chance once again to the outside? George Hall in the back took his drive-through penalty. Anna Adam may have a little bit of luck on his side because the car up ahead is the Falcon Shift. of Lesmana. But unfortunately, it's not going to help that much as they head into Villeneuve. Fast action through here. As more drivers heading into the pits. Fancher, Asbir, Ladino also in for their pit stops. Looks like Daniel Santos also coming in for a drive-through penalty. So that GT category is really getting shuffled up. You look on the timing screen, but our focus is on this battle here for overall second and second in the prototype class. Who's got this one? Who's got the move here between the two? Santos has got the move. Should I say got his drive-through taken. Much cleaner there. Christian Romao goes through Aqua Mineral. Into the next head of chicanes. Got to get a brilliant exit. Both of them run deep together. Gap 4/10. Can any chance of an overtake happen this time around? Or will one of them dart it into the pits this lap? Still waiting for another LMP2 to come in after all. And no, not yet. Gap now 6/10. Any chance of another overtake could be done? We do not know. Meanwhile, there's trouble here for Ladino. Off the circuit for Alpha Corsa. Lacey's going to get the move. Here we have Juan and Casper. Also, as they head through Tosa. And now into the left-hander. Can anything be done for a move? Doesn't look like it. Stays as is. They head into Aqua Mineral. Carlos holding off against Taziaki. Ooh, a little slide there from the Ferrari. Gonna give a good chance at the Corvette. Can anything be done through the chicane? Let's go on board with Taziaki. Looking pretty even Steven. Carlos goes a little bit wide. Taziaki, a little better run. Meanwhile, this gap has gone down to about 3/10 momentarily. Layla in the way there. Just getting out. It's kind of hampered Adam just a tiny bit. It's the exciting racing we get on such a short track. It's going to be the smallest track we have on the calendar. Even though we have Interlagos as the last round, it's a lot more wider. Now heading into the Ravazza, Rajwibi heading in for a second pit stop. And onto the front straight once again for these two competitors. Still, that gap. 5/10. Bola's going to get right out the way as Christian Romao is trying to get a little tiny bit of slipstream. Anything that could help him in this one. As we watch Miro just exiting out pit lane. Anyone behind him. It is Fleer who's going to come out as you see Miro going through. Battle here now. Danny Nasseir against Lucas Smith. Into the chicane. Lot of heat. Exiting out now. And Lucas Smith wanting to get this move done past Danny Nasseir. Gap similar to Christian Romao against Anna Adam. The Canadians doing a great job here in Italy to hold off their competition. But now, great opportunity here for Luca to get the move done on Danny Nasseir. Slipstreaming, but identical cars, so the only thing that can change is, well, nothing actually, as there was local yellow flags for, I think, P3, but Lucas got the move done. Meanwhile, there were some yellows coming out from, I think it was Christian Romao, because they're entering into lap traffic. Beautiful move there from Lucas Smith. Gotta give him his flowers. But Christian now, as they all enter through the traffic once again, this gap starts to open up. Is there any chance that potentially they can close themselves up between each other? Still yet to find out. Lucas got going now as Danny Nasseir has fallen back. Traffic now splitting between P5. Oh, trouble once again, Luca! Off the track, Reagan Milana takes to the sausage curbs. Danny goes through. Luca down a position, down the 6th once again. Back to last. Remember, he still has a pit stop over all the LMP2 cars ahead of him. Meanwhile, side by side into Tulsa. And Ilham is going to lose the position to Miro. But this battle really heating up between Danny and Luca. Fireworks could go off here. Does Danny pit? No. This battle continues on track. Gap 3/10, closest battle we have. Slipstreaming off, looking for the move once again. Can Luca Smith do another move on the inside? Danny's going to know it, so he's going to stick to the inside, but maybe breaking a little too much. Luca's going to go around the outside, but a little too slow. Danny Nasseir is going to go the up and under, side by side, door-to-door contact between the two LMP2 cars battling for 5th position. Luca's the inside, Danny on the outside. Danny's going to let it go. Fantastic battling, real door-to-door action between 5th and 6th. Danny's gonna run down back to 6th position. Once again, though, it's really interesting the strategy calls and how this race is gonna turn out for the LMP2 class, because it's only Luca who's made that pit stop 15 laps ago. So a complete alternate strategy. As trouble, what has happened? Oh, what has happened to Adam? And I think it's Mike Van Dorn as well. Christian Ramau is in the lead. What has happened to the race leader and Adam? Both of them spun round through the exit of Villeneuve. Christian Ramau is in the lead. Can you believe it? Something went wrong. I don't see any GTE cars between them during that part. What went wrong? We see Eamon just up the track, but I think he's a little too far. Ramau is leading this Grand Prix. Absolute chaos at Villeneuve. What happened? It's unfortunate we cannot have an instant replay or some sort of thing to go down, but this race has been flipped on its head as we enter under 54 minutes left to go. Ramau, he's off the track, as well as Mike Van Dorn. They still do not enter pits, so it doesn't look like it's a damage thing. Meanwhile, Adam, as he goes through the second Ravazza, does he decide to enter the pits? No. So what happened? We have no idea. We just saw yellows for Van Dorn, and then he just shuffled down the order. So much to talk about at the end of this one, and we still have just under an hour to go left of racing here. Trouble. There may be a BMW a bit slow on exit. That's Peter Sabot. Danny is trying to catch up through Daniel Santos. As we see Christian Ramau trying to cut through traffic as efficiently as possible. Gets through one of them. Next up, Peter Sabot goes a little bit wide. Cuts through. Meanwhile, you see behind him Mike Van Dorn. Now, the skills that Van Dorn has, any mistake that could come across from him, he's somebody who gets right back up and just pushes on hard. He doesn't let mistakes alter his driving. And that's what's so fascinating about one of the best Dutch drivers we've ever seen in CMRSC. 4 world championships to Van Dorn's name, including the 2025 GT World Challenge. So he's not a man to mess around with on track. He's a man you want to get away from. He knows all the tips and tricks. However, looks like those tires are not holding up as much as he wants to. The gap is 1.3. Taking a lap times between each other. 32.3 from Ramau, 32.8 from Van Dorn, 32.3 from Adam. That's your top 3 at the moment for the LMP2 class. Through traffic, that taxi is going to want to get out of the way. Does so. We also have a battle here. Ladino against Fancher. The lady of CMRC. She sits 13th overall. Has 3 Ferraris ahead of her as well. But not visually, at least. And behind that, we also have Miro, who made a pit stop early on. A lot of soft compounds these drivers are taking on. As Miro is trying to get into a battle between himself, Lesmana, and Layla, who is also at home, the other Italian driver here today. Haven't given her much credit for being at home. But yes, this is her home Grand Prix as well, just as much as it is for Eamon Esper, who would really love a race victory. Let's continue this one back up to the field now, because Mike Van Doren has lost a tad bit of time. 3.1 seconds, and you see as we go over the crest down the hill, he's going to have the Porsche next as there's some trouble down the order. I think it was Daniel Santos, potentially. Yes, I think it was Daniel Santos. He was going a little bit slow through the chicane, so a little weird what was going on there. But these tires really trying desperately to hold up, honestly. As it stands, though, green flag racing. Twice we were very close to a virtual safety car. Nowhere near the amount of close calls we had back at Belgium. Chat. Wanting Adam for the win here today. Almost could have led this race if there wasn't any trouble between himself and potentially an incident with Van Doren. Once again, we're unsure what exactly happened at that fight. But meanwhile, we have a great three-car battle here for 16th position overall. Lesmana against Layla. Into the chicane now, Ferrari against Corvette. And Miro's going to have front row seats to this awesome battle between two cars of identical looking liveries. 49 minutes, 35 seconds left to go. We are about to enter the regular amount of time we do in CMRSC. 45 minutes of racing we regularly do in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. This is the first time we are doing 1 hour and 90 minutes. Never seen before in the league. But looks like Miro's not able to hold up against both of these Falcon Shift drivers. But Lesmana has a chance against Layla. Slipstreaming as they head into Tulsa. And nothing can be done through the first part of it. But finally, Christian Ramau takes it to pits. And the LMP2 class could expect big pit stops. Anna Adams also in. Cannot miss their pit boxes. That's the next important part. It's going to shuffle Van Doren back to the lead of this one. But this is interesting now. So, we're just about under the halfway point. As there was some local yellows here coming from one of these guys battling for the bottom spots here of P16 and 17 overall. Once again, Lesmana has a decent run now on the sister team. As they both go through the bollard there, and it's not going to help Layla. Not the best of exits. And Lesmana is going to say, thank you very much. I will take that position. But Layla could try to fight it back into the Ravazza. Here we go, side by side. No, backs out. Oh, but no, a little too deep for her. Lesmana runs off the track. Miro's going to pick up the pieces as well. Oh, in trouble. Layla's also off the circuit. And Van Doren also off the circuit there. He does not make it to the pits, though. So, there we see Max up into second place. And P3 of Christian Ramau. P4, Lucas Smith. Lucas trying to pick up the pieces. Remember, he's on an alternate pit stop strategy. He's going to need to make a pit stop pretty soon, though. Because he only made a pit stop about 6-7 laps ahead, as we're watching this battle pretty closely as he's trying to desperately get through this field of cars through the tightest corner of the circuit. As we follow along with Van Doren here for the moment. P2, we see Max trundling his way through as he exits through Villeneuve into Tosa. Looking pretty good. But continuing this race off now, 46 minutes, we're about to enter the halfway stage, the final half of this one. side by side through here, and Adam, as he goes past Ladino. In Ladino's first race here for Alpha Corsa, debut race for the team as well. He currently sits P14 overall, one of many of the Brazilian drivers in CMRSC, and on track right now. As we continue this one off, no virtual safety cars have been deployed. Our race leader, however, comes in for his pit stop, followed by Fleer. So is it going to shuffle Ramau up to the race lead? That's the most important part. And we're going to stay with this story. Is there a chance? Is there a potential chance? We watch now. Christian Ramau racing down to the Ravazza as it stands still in the pits. It's Van Dorn we're going to have to focus on. But as we look at Ramau exiting out, take a look at the map there. Are you going to see a big number one get popped out? No, doesn't look like it. Van Dorn now exits out of pits. And there you see Christian Ramau. He goes to the lead of this Grand Prix. Lucas Smith is going to get the overtake as well on Van Dorn. The early strategy call for pit stops for Lucas Smith is finally shuffled him back up to the front pack. Lucas Smith is up to second place now, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason why I would say he's not P1 is probably because of that traffic. And oh, that's not going to help as well. Luca with the advantage takes it to the gravel, and he's going to have two feisty LMP2 cars coming in fast. Van Dorn and Adam, they're both pushing with fresh compounds, and they're now battling for third. Could be a net P2 if Luca does pit very soon. Through Aqua Mineral, exiting out. Oh, still looks a little bit close, but Van Dorn's a little bit squirrely. Through the chicane. And is there a potential chance that Adam is going to make a dart down to the inside? No, he does not. Continues his battle off here. Still undecided what's going to go on here. The chat says, Vamos, Ramau. Into the Ravazza, but a little too deep coming from Adam, the Canadian, on his teammate. And we look this battle to the sky. A little bit of a freeze there. Apologies for that. But this is how it's looking like. They have, I believe that's Eamon to overtake. Yes, they do. Look at the top of your screens. They head into the chicane. Steinberg in chat is saying, defend, Mike, defend. That's the call out. And Van Dorn right now is in a league of his own right now, just really focusing on himself. Very aggressive through the inside of Villeneuve, but the braking is a lot better from Anna Adam. On exit, Van Dorn drops a tire off the track. Ahead of them, it is the Jumbo Racing team of Lucas Smith. Look how close, though, is Anna Adam getting. We could get a three-car battle here for second place. Into Aqua Mineral as Lucas Smith runs wide. This battle continues to be very close. In fact, Van Dorn, so quick, he's caught up to his fellow Dutch driver, but Adam is quicker through the chicane. The gap is 2/10. This is feeling a lot like Formula One's Montreal Grand Prix. Two McLarens chasing down a Mercedes, and here comes Adam, who's gonna sneak it down the inside, and Van Dorn is gonna get shuffled down to fourth. Danny Nasseir is also a lap car in between this, and he's gonna get out the way. Danny's gonna want to stick. Danny, stick to the inside, stick to the inside. And Danny Nasseir desperately trying to get out the way for Van Dorn. Meanwhile, and Adam got the move done. Feels exactly like Montreal. A sneak move there on his teammate. Yes, Van Dorn and Anna Adam are teammates at Falcon Shift X, show me your hardest trouble for Luca Smith. Luca runs down the order. Luca loses P2. And Adam is going to say, thank you very much. I will take home second place. What a battle this is. It's not quite over yet. Daniel Santos in the way for P4 in the GTE category. Luca Smith able to go through. Luca is going to want to be very aggressive now to try to keep up with Adam. Incredible battling this race has turned out to be as Mike Van Doorn in the background gets past Daniel Santos. Next up through, it's George Hall. As these LMP2 cars just dance through this battle. But gaps open up to a second, and Adam has done a fantastic job in the number 44 to cut through this battle. Incredible. That's honestly a great drive there from Adam, and I know he's going to be smiling knowing that that was awesome. Everything just worked out. Traffic perfectly placed for him. You can almost say this race was scripted for him. But the number 44 driver still has a couple cars to overtake, and one of those drivers is the man who currently sits P3 in the GTE category, who's chasing down P2. And here we go. Anna to the outside. And Luca is going to go to the inside of Peter Sabot. Next up, that Porsche there. Trouble. Oh, the Porsche gets it wrong. Oh, no. Trouble. Faces the Tag Heuer wall. Does a VSC need to be called? He gets going. Yep, Regan, you're clear. You're clear, Regan. Gets going. And I think that little spook that Porsche spun wide. It's allowed Mike Van Doorn to get back there. Luca Smith spun it sideways. Luca Smith has drifted it off Aqua Mineral. And Mike Van Doorn will take third place with 38 minutes left to go. It is truly kicking off here. Luca's got to calm down. I don't know if he's overdriving the car, but definitely those tires are overheated, that's for sure. Chad is saying Anna needs to break the F4 curse. We need to see another Anna Adam victory. It's been far too long. Christian Ramau, once again, a race win of his own as well. But it's absolute chaos here. It's Anna Adam once again getting brilliant traffic to overtake, and he now passes the GTE race leader. Breathe in, breathe out. That was an incredible battle. Let's continue this one here. And as we do so, we follow this battle on. Is Ladino on Fancher? Both of these drivers pretty close together, Ferrari and Porsche. They've been kind of on and off throughout this Grand Prix. But as it stands right now, Christian Ramau still in the lead of this race, followed by Anna Adam and Mike Van Doorn in the GT category. It's Eduardo Brito, followed by Daniel Santos and Peter Sabot. Or should I say that order was actually flipped, my apologies. Peter Sabot second, Daniel Santos third. Two Brazilian drivers looking for their first race wins. Last week out, it was a double Dutch victory. Sven and Mike took the race wins in their respective categories for a Dutch takeover. Is this a Brazilian takeover before we even get to Interlagos? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. What we do know, Mike has got a little bit of pressure because Luca Smith has found himself once again in the clutches. Let's go. Top once again now, Luca Smith. Chasing down Mike Van Doorn. We remember what Luca did against Danny Nasseir. Cutting through Tamburello. But cannot get it done through there. Now through Villeneuve, there's trouble! Who is that? Is that who I think that is? It is! It's an Adam! An Adam! He's gone! He's retired! We believe he may be gone for the Grand Prix! He is! Anna Adam is out of the Italian Grand Prix. Went off the track into the gravel. He's off and he's out. What happened to him? With 35 minutes left to go, it is now shuffled up Van Dorn and Luca Smith. But Luca still on the charge. Van Dorn has traffic. That is an absolute shocker. And it's absolutely stunned it. He went on the gravel. We're absolutely shocked. We are shocked here in the paddock. What happened at Adam, the fastest driver on track? He's gone, he's retired. That is drama. Hezbollah sticks to the outside. Luca Smith, because of the offset pit stop strategies, enters in for his final stop of this race. And I am speechless. Wow. What happened? Do we know? Does anybody know? We're gonna try to investigate it from our side. But one thing's for sure, we have just lost ourselves a very exciting battle as Hannah Adam was cutting through the order. That is painful. That is painful. I don't know what happened to him whatsoever. So we're looking at the live replay. We can't put it up on the stream, but we may believe. Now, I'm going to have to do a little... I don't know if this is the story for sure, so you're going to have to hear me out here, and I'm going to have to use a reference. Yuki Tsunoda qualifying Formula 1 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. The crash that he lost the back end through Villeneuve, we believe the same thing may have just happened, and it put heavy damage on Anna Adams' car. He caught up to some lap traffic. There may have been contact, but we're looking at the stream right here. The tiny pixels are showing us it could have potentially been a mistake that Anna Adam dropped the back end, swung it, and hit the wall hard. Now, we're not 100% certain, but we don't think there's any sort of contact. Now, meanwhile, we still have a long race left to go, 33 minutes. And that, it's still kind of shocking, the turnout. But if you rewind back the stream and you take a look at the top of your screen as Mike Van Dorn and Lucas Smith started to enter the short straight as we are right now, you can kind of see a little speck. It may have been a hard crash. Very hard crash. We hope he's okay. And we're not just saying okay as a joke because it's a sim. We're saying okay mentally because he could have had this one. Man, that is huge. Meanwhile, though, we continue this battling here. Daniel Santos has caught up to Ladino. Ladino and Danny, they're fighting for P4, P10 overall. Porsche against Ferrari. Another battle as Santos runs off the circuit, rejoins back on. Still, this battle looking pretty close between each other. As he exits out through the short chute. Meanwhile, we also have the move done on Regan Milana passing Lacey. Let's go back down here. But still, drama ensues now as we follow up through this battle here. I think, yep, Ladino pits. The GTE car is coming in for what looks to be their final stops of the Grand Prix. As Mike Van Dorn cuts through. Van Dorn is 14 seconds off the race leader. Who's quicker? That's the question on our hand. Previous lap times for Christian Ramau is a 35.5. Mike Van Dorn 35.4. 30 minutes left to go. Any and everything could still happen in this race. You just saw it with Anna. Still a chance for something to go down here in the late stages of this Italian Grand Prix. Just gonna do an audio check here, making sure everything's good on our side. 30 minutes left to go. Any and everything could still happen in this race. It's really awesome that the delay for us commentating and the live stream, it's non-existent. If we can get a replay in the chat through our Discord, that would be very interesting to look at.
As we continue this battle here. Watching now 15. Very interesting here. We think we have another retirement. Yes, we do. So far, we have another retirement from Kasper Taziaki, as well as Dominic Mizzuzzo. We didn't see him. But our so far retirements, Dominic Mizzuzzo, Nixon, Jose, Kasper, and recently, Adam. But let's continue this one off here. Despite losing one of the crazier battles we had on track, we are still in for the long haul, in for this race. And you can see the leaderboard is just going to slowly shuffle up the names. The invisible space is just for those who retired. That's just a little thing this leaderboard has. We had to alternate leaderboards. It looks a little bit different from the last couple of weeks because the timer was not working. So we reverted back to what we've used to use back at the Porsche Cup. The replay, I believe, that's going to be talked about in chat is the Assetto Corsa replay. That's probably going to be shared between drivers in the Discord. Is trouble for Lismana. Not too sure what went wrong there. A couple more drivers heading in for their pit stops. Still a close battle over here. And we'd actually think a race lead has been changed. Yes, it has. I did not notice it, but the GTE category had a lead change. And oh, there's trouble, however. I'm trying to figure it out. Where is he? There he is. It's Lismana. No idea what happened there. A little bit of dirt there from the side of the car. Has got going. So still this one stays green. Anything and everything could go down, but as we head into the last 30 minutes of this race, 5:30 Eastern in the real world. Ignore the 2:04 p.m. on your screen there at the top. We are coming down to midday. Gonna get into the evening, so you're gonna see that sun come up very soon. But this race still continues, and right now, the new battle, as I think Eamon has just headed into the pits. Yes, he has. So now he's back out, so he's lost that race lead as everybody is now shuffled back in. So looks like it was actually pit stops that shuffled the drivers through. And Anna Adam has made one remark in the paddock. He said, just know it's Silver War 2.0 from now on. Now, I'm not too sure what that means, but there is one car that is silver on track. That is George Hall. As Andrew Ryan, who is in this championship, just posts out a picture saying, I'm at a baseball game. A little bit funny there. But, yeah. Meanwhile, though, paddock is going a little chatty now. Some of the drivers who have retired are early, discussing about incidents. But this one has really slowed down now between all these competitors. You just saw it. And it's really come down, not to a stalemate necessarily, but at least for the LMP2 class, we potentially are still waiting for one more stop from those top guys. Now, one thing I can confidently say, they cannot make it to the end under green. I can confidently say that, and if I'm wrong, then I will be kicking myself, because I really don't believe that the Orcas can make it to the pits. Now, for example, the first pit stops made by the LMP2 cars, excluding Luca, was at the 48-minute mark. That's 3 minutes over the halfway point. Plus, you got to factor in the extra final lap after the timer expires. So, with that all in mind,
That's, you know, just a lot to talk about. And actually, we're getting another word here. Anna Adam has just said it's the Civil War was not against the GTE cars. It was actually against Mike Van Dorn, but of course that wasn't the incident that caused him to be taken out. But there is going to be a fantastic battle between those two. I think Adam is taking in good spirits of heading out of this Grand Prix. As, Christian Ramau comes in for his pit stop. So like I said, he comes in, but did somebody just retire from the Grand Prix? I'm not too sure. Just checking out. Oh, it has. Yes, Lucas Smith's out. I just noticed on the leaderboard, Lucas Smith is out of the Grand Prix. Was that there earlier? Apologies that I didn't catch it live. Just checking stuff outside. No, that was... something happened. And Lucas Smith is suggesting to Stephen Bola that he should consider golf. I'm not too sure what that means, but one thing's for sure, Lucas Smith has retired from the Italian Grand Prix. 3 hard hitters. And what I would have said was a very good strategy race coming to the very end for Luca. Well, it's all gone down. I have no idea what has happened there. You missed the yellow flag, stopped on the car, multiple. Stopped car in the final quarter. Would that have been... that might have been Lucas Smith. Oh, there's trouble. Ford's off of Aquaman. Rahul gets back going. Probably is Lacey to overtake ES and another one of the BMWs in the back. So we're now getting official confirmation. Anna Adam retired. He hit the curb too hard. So yes, I was correct. Basically, a Yuki Tsunoda. So yes, that is the official retirement statement coming from Anna Adam, piloting the number 44 LMP2 car from Falcon Shift X Show Me Your Heart. But he is promising us a war is going to happen here. 23 minutes left to go. Christian Ramau took it to the pits pretty early on than he needed to. But it has now left Van Dorn in the lead. Now, Van Dorn has 2 options. He's going to be at least maybe 3 laps short if he stays full pace. So he's going to need to save. Desperately needing to save fuel. So let's go on board now with Fleer as he's actually catching up to Christian Ramau. But maybe we could see Fleer into the pits. And in fact, as we were going on board with the German, fastest lap for Christian Ramau. Anyways, let's continue this one off. My apologies there. Weird thing just happened to me. My headset wire just fell under my chair, so had to pick up my whole chair there for a moment there. But if you want to see what I look like in the bottom corner of your screen, hi, bye. That's a clip there for you guys. All right, enough chit-chatting, and what Sheriff would say. Actually, what did Sheriff say at Cars? You know, Cars 1, no lollygagging. The most random set of words I've ever heard a character say in any kind of movie. No cheating, no spitting, and definitely no lollygagging. So, no more here. Anyways, let's continue this one off. Hi, Evan. Fleer now 5.4 behind the man in P2 right now, who could have the race lead depending on pit stop strategy between himself and Mike Van Doorn. So let's continue this off here, and let's go through the order, shall we? It's starting off with this here, as we have a little civil war between Corvettes before we officially start off. And Evan is saying, I know exactly what you have done by turning on your camera. I am now scared. Let's go through the order here. Stephen Bola currently sitting 18th, and he's drifting his 4 GTs. Got through and going. And it's Fleer also off the track in the background as well. Stephen Bola not seeing his teammates roll per tab here today. And unfortunately, he's left towards the rear of the field. There are drivers who are in the first places, and there are drivers who are in the last places. Unfortunately for the Guyanese, he is currently sitting P18 overall, followed by now P17, George Hall in the silver Corvette. Nothing too much to write home about. Followed by Ilham Lesmana. Had some great battles in the early stages, as he's now letting Christian Ramal through on track. Let's look continuing up the order now. The Ferrari of Lacey Fancher. Once again, one of those drivers who was in that battle here. Hold on one moment. Was there any yellow flags? We just saw some local yellows on the map, but I think we're good. Let's continue off here. So yes, Lacey Fancher, another driver. She was really close through the early pack in this race, but she currently sits P15 overall, followed by the next female driver, Layla, who's having a much better race than the Belgium Grand Prix. She just could not find her footing at Spa. Luckily now it's starting to improve here. She's on the soft compound tires. Can't see P13, so this is technically P13, I believe, at the moment. This is Miro, or maybe P12. Nonetheless, next up in the GT category. So, Miro in for his first race of the championship. He was supposed to race with us last week out at Belgium to have his home race, but unfortunately, issues pursued. And we saw some great battling early on between himself and Eamon and Peter Sabot, which we're going to get to later on. But nonetheless, though, he currently sits 12th overall, followed by new racer in CMRSC. As you see in the background, Danny Nasseir getting past Stephen Bola. Paulo Ladino, the Brazilian on circuit for his debut. And honestly, nothing too much to be said, which can be a good thing as well, as there's nothing negative to be said as well. Had a really good start to this one. Unfortunately, though, throughout the race, could not keep up the paces towards some of the other drivers. New debut driver here as well, Juan Carlos, as he has the Corvette of George Hall to overtake. That Ferrari, kind of once again the lone parts of Imola here, currently sitting 10th overall and 6th in class. 5th in class as we enter the top 5 for the GTE class. Eamon Espeir at home. Now, he did pit a bit early on compared to the drivers up ahead, so he's trying to nail that offset, similar to what Lucas Smith was trying to do before the retirement. And so, is there a chance of potentially Eamon? Oh, that's not going to help. That's going to lose him a great bit of time as the sun starts to set here. We're going to be racing until 8 p.m. in server. But he runs off the track just there. But he has made 2 pit stops on circuit. The driver who has made 3 pit stops is Daniel Santos, so he should be good to the end. But let's continue up the order. Eamon Espeir currently in the top 5 of the GTE category. Is that a taxi? Yes, it is. A freaking taxi. No less. As Christian Ramal overtakes him. Regan Milana in the Porsche, the second Porsche in this category at the top here. P4 is looking, well, pretty swell right now. But, yeah, late in the stage of this race, it's unfortunate that he's like, what, 27 seconds, yes, behind the next driver in line, who we now enter the podium. Daniel Santos, running under the name Danny, the nickname that all the drivers call him here in CMRC. The Portuguese driver is on the podium. 3rd place, hard racing. But at this point now, just trying to stay consistent to keep up to the top drivers, including Peter Sabot, who put it on pole last week out, but unfortunately, with a couple issues down the line in that race, did put him down a little bit down the order. He currently sits second in GTE. First, however, is a man who could be taking race victory here today in the GTE category. He's got 6.9 against Peter Sabot. It's Eduardo Brito, the Brazilian, making his second race start in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Let's follow up the order here. Danny Nasseir, only 4 cars left in the LMP2 category. We had 6, we're down to 4. Danny Nasseir, P4 now. Honestly, at this point, collecting all the drivers who have retired. Easy pickings for points. That's all I can say for him. Unable to really compete with these top drivers. But not as much off the pace as he was at Belgium. He's really found his footing with this setup. Putting a lot of laps over the week, especially last night. So, yeah. He sits 4th position. A lot of points going to come his way. 3rd place. Maximilian Fleer, the German driver here in CMRSC, making his 2nd start in the league. And he's also doing pretty good as well out there. Once again, nothing too much could be said at this stage of the race. Early on, doing very good. Trouble, however. George Hall, off track. Now he's off on the Ravazza, and he's going to get caught up right here. We should see him on board. Yes. So just local yellows there as Hall trying to get out the way. I think he's good. Yes, he is. So once again, we still stay clear. So yes, Fleer, 3rd position. Still looking for an easy, sweet podium. The battle we're really paying attention now is your battle for the race win. Christian Ramau against Mike Van Doorn. Christian Ramau decided to take it into pit lane to get new tires and to not save fuel. Mike Van Doorn, however, is on a fuel number. He pits, he loses 1st, he may lose 2nd. So he's got 13 minutes and a dream coming to the end of this race. So still massive opportunity towards the end of this one for a battle at the end. It's going to be a real strategy call. But as it stands right now, Ramau was doing a fantastic job of reeling in Mike Van Doorn. That also may help because Van Doorn just touching the curb on the inside. Not going to help his case at all. Meanwhile, as we continue this one, 13 minutes left to go. The battle for the race lead could commence very, very soon. Keep an eye out on it. What is going to go down here? Gap's even closer now. Christian Ramau goes around the outside of Peter Sabot. Clean and steady. That's how he gets it through. And as he exits through Villeneuve, gap is starting to close up. .3 the difference here. And what would have been a very quiet point in the race is going to come down to it. Because now, Christian Ramau, is he going to set Brazil on fire in the South American crowd? Can Christian Ramau take his first race win against the 4-time champion as both Brazilian drivers, Eduardo and Christian, almost coming together? Christian, of course, P2, but behind him, Eduardo, P1 in the GTE class. Eduardo's doing everything he can, and he's leading this one. He's got 6 seconds to spare. The battle is just between these two. Sun sets. 11 minutes left to go. The battle. Christian Ramau. Fresh tires, fresh fuel. Sacrifice the pit stop to go for a late race dash. And Mike Van Doren deciding to stay out, has traffic, and also needs to save fuel. And you hear a little bit of a lift as it goes through Tosa, side by side. However, that BMW did not let through. I think that was Miro. Yes, it was. And now here comes Rahul. 2.4 seconds the difference. 10 minutes left to go. Oh, is Rahul now allowing that car to go through? Oh, little over the curb, just responding to some chatter. 10 minutes left to go. As Christian Rahul now sees his prey. All right, we're going to focus on 10 minutes left to go for the Italian CMRSC Endurance Grand Prix. It's all down to this. Christian Rahul, 1.1 seconds against Mike Van Doren. Does Mike decide to fight for P1, or does he back off and just decide P2 is the next best thing I can get? He's got a 20-second gap, a 21-second gap between himself and Max in P3. If Van Doren pits now, he will lose P3. It will go down to P3, so he can either sacrifice for P2 or not. The man ahead of him, P4, well, there's no way that Danny Nasseir is going to be able to overtake, and you see Danny just getting off the racing line very early for Van Doren to go through. Gap is under a second, ladies and gentlemen. This looks like Christian Rahul's race to lose, because Christian is all over the rear now, because it's clear today now Mike Van Doren has to save fuel. He cannot battle for this race win. How easy is Mike going to let him? 9 minutes left to go. Sun starts to set, continues to set as Van Doren runs wide. We're going to look at lap times by the end of this one. But as it stands right now, 34.5 from Van Doren, 33.7 from Rahul. Ladino in the way from Van Doren. They both get held up through the second Ravazza, exiting out, and it's going to be 3 wide, threads the needle. Oh, there's contact! Christian Rahul's in the wall! Christian decided to thread the needle! Christian Rahul, trouble! 8 minutes left to go! There's no VSC that cannot be called at this point! Christian Rahul went for the gap! He listened to Ayrton Senna! But the gap closed way too fast! Who was that on? I don't know. Was that on anybody? Can you put a blame on that? Paulo stayed to the outside of the circuit. Trouble for Rahul again! Goes to the grass! Why did Christian Rahul go on the inside? Why did he go to the middle? Was that being over-ambitious? It has now put a chance. Van Doren has now an official chance at winning this race. 21 seconds. Has he thrown it up? Meanwhile, take a look at this. Max has overtaken Rahul. Rahul has thrown away a race victory. His first race victory in CMRSC. To an overtake that may have been a little too over-ambitious. I cannot believe my eyes. This is drama to the very end. The reason why the VSC didn't call out, because we were at the final 8 minutes. And remember last week at the Belgium Grand Prix, the exact 8 minutes and about 7 seconds left to go in the race, Danny Nasseir had the incident, caused a virtual safety car. We didn't call it this time because there's not enough time. And Christian Rahul has just lost out on what would have been his first race victory. I mean, I'm just watching back the stream right now. Yeah, Paula stayed to the outside. Van Doren lapping, and yeah, he just went to the middle. It was really hard. Oh no, it's insult to injury. There's damage. There's suspension damage from Christian Rahul. Heartbreak at Imola. And Christian Rahul's race for victory domination, the fastest driver on track in the LMP2 class, has come to a screeching halt, has to take it to the pits and settle for a potential third position. Mike Van Doorn, he's gotten away. He has gotten away with a murder that's gone down, or has he? Van Doorn's off! Van Doorn is off! 20 seconds! As well, there's another car behind Danny Nasseir, but they weren't in contact with each other at all. Van Doorn is damaged! Van Doorn may have damaged, has he? Or may have jumped the gun a little too soon. Damage here. Danny Nasseir also off the circuit. Oh, there's also even more chaos. Turn 1. Maybe there's something gone wrong here. There's local yellows. Yes, there is. Who is that? That's Juan Carlos and Layla. So many cars going off at the end of this Grand Prix. But no virtual safety car can come out at this moment. How has it all set off? Stop speaking. You're right. You're right. Reading the chat, guys. I am so sorry. It's the commentator's curse. I gotta keep my mouth shut. This is absolute drama. I am not causing them the bottle. I promise you. 4 minutes, 47 seconds, and what was a confident 20-second lead from Mike Van Doorn has now gone down to a 13-second fuel save that Max could potentially do something about. Aiming next for the taken. The sun has truly gone down here at Imola, but Van Doorn just went way too deep into Aqua Mineral. 5 minutes under. We're 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And unfortunately, we are now getting word from Juan Carlos that his GPU drivers died there. He had to pull off to the side of the track. That is why. I don't know if he made contact with Layla. Nonetheless, though, 4 minutes left to go. Is that it? Is that it for incidents? Because I don't think I can take it. My heart dropping at so many points of this Italian Grand Prix. We're also still getting local yellows. Is that? That may have been Layla? No, it's somebody. Somebody just pulled it into the pits from turn 1. We're going to watch our screens here now. We're going to take a look at lap times. Mike Van Doorn is still faster. He actually pulled out a 32.8 against the 33.4 against Max. Christian Ramau still third place. And he's going to need a miracle for all this action going on ahead of him. As, oh boy. Van Doorn catching up these cars through traffic at Villeneuve. 3 minutes left to go. Can we finish this one off? Can Van Doorn go 2 for 2 in endurance? He's really got through the field now. Gap between Eduardo and Peter, 9 seconds. Still, gap is now 12.1. But once again, something big's gonna have to happen. Van Doorn's gonna need another costly mistake if Max has got any opportunity to overtake. And you see Van Doorn, he's taking it very easy. He may lose some precious tenths through there, but with 2 minutes and 25 seconds, he knows that Max needs to over-push this car if he wants this race victory. Two minutes, 12 seconds to go. I believe we still have one more extra lap as well in this Grand Prix. And just to confirm, yes, we do. So once the timer expires, the leader has to come across the line one more time to start the final lap of this race. And there you see your race leader, Mike Van Doorn, which is still getting very heated. But it looks like a lot of drivers starting to spread out. Looking for a close battle. I think the only close battle we have here is the two females in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Layla and Lacey. Both Ferraris battling for 12th overall. Christian Ramau, fastest lap of the race as well. Got a little bonus on him. Not going to be a point, though. A green flag. A complete green flag race to the very end of the Italian Grand Prix. As Danny Nasseir, just sneaks up on the inside. I didn't even notice that Danny was there. But this action has been amazing. And we thank everyone for tuning in this week out for another fantastic round of CMRC. Next week out, Road America. Expect a good mix of Spa and Imola as Danny runs off the track. Mike Van Dorn! Oh my God, it's me! Mike Van Dorn is a drive-through penalty! Mike Van Dorn is a drive-through penalty! You cannot make it up! You cannot make it up! Mike Van Dorn may have lost this race! Are you serious? Are you serious? I can't believe it! I cannot believe it! Ladies and gentlemen, Van Dorn drive-through! 13-second gap! What's the difference? I am absolutely speechless. Why? Wait, Max is entering in for a pit stop as well. Wait, Max also having to take a pit stop. I don't think he would have made it. I don't think Max wouldn't have made it. Max would not have made it. It wouldn't have mattered. Oh my goodness. One guy from Attack on Titan. I don't watch Attack on Titan. Mike Van Dorn for a second or third time has just gone away with murder. Max had to pit. He didn't have the fuel. I said it. The drivers could not make it to the end. And that Mike Van Dorn pit stop, or should I say drive-through penalty, would have slowed his car down and probably has just given him enough fuel to the very end. Does he at this point? Max is still in the pits. Where's Rahul? In fact, Rahul is actually coming out. Christian Rahul might have a race of his own. We're on the final lap of this one. He's also set the fastest lap of this race. He's pushing hard, but meanwhile, Mike Van Dorn for the second time has just gone away with murder. Incredible. Do I even need as a murder? A drive-through penalty for our race leader coming to the end of this one. And Martin Webster said it best in chat. The luckiest driver ever with so many things going off around him. At this point, I don't know what else could stop Mike Van Dorn. Sun is fully set here. We're in the late hours. But as for Mike Van Dorn, he comes around the final corner. I believe this is the last lap for him. It should be the last lap, and at this point, I don't want any more laps from him. Mike Van Dorn, that's the checkered flag, and Mike Van Dorn goes 2 for 2 at Imola and the Endurance Championship. The championship lead is firmly in the lead of that man, the Dutchman. Meanwhile, as we head to the end of this one, trying to look for Christian Rahul and Max. But coming through the last two rivatsas, Max is gonna successfully finish himself in second. Who knows what would have happened if there were carnage at the very end. And I think, do we have a confirmation here that, oh wow, my leaderboard is absolutely ruined. Daniel Santos takes victory in GTE. Unfortunately, I think you can kind of see now, I can't even click names anymore. Let's try to find him on track. As Eamon run out of fuel. Eamon Aspire has run out of fuel, but I think he's already made it to the end. There's it. Yep, he has. It's official. Daniel Santos takes victory in the GTE class. Wow, this leaderboard is absolutely giving me a headache. But across the line very soon, we should be seeing around the final couple of corners. I think I can actually find him right now. Yes, it is. Unless this is for position. I'm not too sure. We got to see it on our foreground here. It's not. Eduardo is going to finish home. I think that's going to be second place for the GT category. No, it's P1. Sorry about that. I think I've jumped the gun again. It's our timing screen just giving us multiple issues here on the leaderboard. I think you can see it for yourself there. It's Eduardo, followed by Peter Sabot and Daniel Santos. That's your final three in this one. But as it stands right now, call him the most luckiest driver in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club history. He's a 4-time world champion. You can't even compare luck to him. He is just him. That is what I call main character aura to the very end of this Italian Grand Prix. And Santos, also not happy in the chatter. Was Peter ahead of Daniel? I'm not too sure. And we're going to have to double check the GTE finishing, because I believe maybe there could have been an incident for the race lead. I'm not too sure, but on screen, it's Eduardo who finishes P1. That's a bit of a shame for our timing board that we did not catch it. We're just double checking on our screens here. But we're not too sure. Let's go talk to the drivers in the box. Whew. Switch over to the green screen side so you can kind of see what I'm looking like right now. I don't know if you see it, but like I am sweating out there. Great. That was honestly some incredible racing. Now, I want to formally say right now, I did not see the GTE finish, so I will look at that after. So apologies if there was any sort of incident coming to the end, but our leaderboard just was not able to give us any sort of details what happened there. But we'll look into it after. However, we're going to interview the top 1 drivers from each class. Let's start off with our man who finishes P1, who goes back-to-back in the LMP2 class, and what the chat and everyone could potentially say, he got away with murder many times when the blood was not even on his hands either. The man who goes 2 for 2 in the championship, Mike Van Dorn. Mike, holy, there were so many moments where I think we both felt like, yeah, this race lead is going to be hard to defend from. You've won it with a considerable gap. Despite everything that has gone on, Mike, I want you to take us through every bit that has gone on in that race.
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to say I'm happy with being able to do a one-stop. I'm not happy with the win there, because, I mean, let's be honest, it should have been either Christian's or Anna Adams to win, but yeah, I mean, it was very sweaty and intense the whole time. I mean, I had multiple GTEs crashing in front of me during the race, which was a bit scary, but yeah, I mean, pace was decent. Towards the end of that first stint, I looked at the fuel and I was like, well, maybe a one-stop is possible here. And then I just decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna fuel save for the entire stint and then see where I end up. And yeah, I mean, that first contact with Anna Adam, yeah, from my point of view, it looked like it was just a racing incident, but I'm gonna be honest, I should have probably backed out of that there in that situation, since, I mean, he had more pace than me, and I had a tiny bit of I believe I did have a tiny bit of damage already at the front, so sorry to him for that one. But yeah, and then that final one, I don't really know what happened. I have to look at the replay for it, but yeah, very unfortunate incident. And I mean, at that point it should have been Christian's to win, but it's not to be, sadly. But yeah, apart from that, it was good. Managed to do a one stop and then lucky to somehow win it, I guess.
That reaction of getting that drive-through penalty towards the end of the race, did you feel like, yep, that's the point where I've lost this one? What was in your head?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Maximilian was also on a one stop, but I guess he was just slightly short on fuel, so he wasn't able to steal it away from me. But yeah, I mean, I made a few mistakes in the chicane where I went wide a few times, and then that final time, I smashed on the brakes, but it just went red so quickly. I was it fully cut me off there. But yeah, I mean, luckily to get away with it there.
Yep. Yeah, I believe Max was one lap, I believe, short of fuel. So if he had the same strategy you did, things could have been a little different. But nonetheless, though, it was very entertaining, and honestly, at the end of the day, it was just very undecided of who was going to take that victory there. It was truly just a survival here at Imola, but overall, though, congratulations. I would still say it's a well-deserved victory because you still played your part and played it well of being a very quick driver on track, and I would say, very deserving victory for you. And you now lead the championship going into the second half of this one. How confident are you feeling going for a 5th title?
Wait, so sorry, what did you say?
Basically, how confident are you feeling? You've won 2 races now. Is there a 5th championship in the horizon for you?
Maybe. We'll have to see. Road America is probably going to be a similar pain with traffic as this race, but Interlagos should be a bit better, and I know Interlagos very well, so I'm confident there. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see for Road America, and then I don't want to say anything until after that race.
Indeed. Congratulations, P1, and once again, holding off a good lead now in the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
And now we look to talk to our man who finishes P1 in the GTE class and a first-time race winner. I'm going to drag you up here. So, Eduardo.
Hey, hello.
Hey, first off, congratulations. A first race victory. I got to apologize for you on the stream side. We did not catch you crossing the line, but still, flowers to you. You got it done, and it was a great race win for you there. Take us through that one.
Thank you. Well, to be honest, I was not expecting to be first on Imola, but when I saw Danny going off track, I just think, okay, it's my time. I'm going for it. I'm taking the P1. And let's see what happened for the rest of the race. And then all my strat was about pitting, pit lane, going into the pits with putting a fuel tank and then changing tires. Struggle, I had a little bit of struggle with my tires, who was cold. So that was it. Trying to be at least 5 seconds ahead of the second drivers. First was Regan Milana, and then Danny, and the finish was Peter, I think. But it was completely, amazing for me to win this race. It's amazing. Thank you.
First race win on the board. Anybody want to shout out?
What? I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
First race win for you there. Congratulations. Anybody want to shout out and call out at home who may be watching you and supporting you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would like to thank my brother, Ketsui, and then to my best friend, Julia, and then any other person who cheers for me in the chat. And, already my teammate, Paulo, and Christian. Congrats to Christian, too, for the podium. That's it.
Congratulations. Fantastic results, and hope to see more amazing results from you here
Definitely.
in CMRSC.
I'm much more confident.
Congratulations on it.
Thank you, sir.
That's going to do it here for another amazing race here of the championship. Next week out, we are going to be heading to Road America. Session's going to be up very shortly. And yeah, for the rest of the drivers, if you want to stick around, you can head into the lounge for a quick little debrief. And then after that, we will see you hopefully next Saturday for another race in this championship. Congratulations to our winners and our podiums for this one. And hopefully we'll see the rest of you next week out at Road America. Thank you, everyone, and take it easy. And that's going to do it here for this round of racing. Thank you so much for tuning into Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. We're going to take an exit here now, and we're going to see you next week out. It is going to be the United States Grand Prix, Road America, baby. It's a very fun track to drive. These guys are, the reactions, you heard them there first off. It could potentially be what we saw at Imola. I firmly believe it's going to be a mix between Imola and Spa, where there's still some easy places to overtake, but there is going to be that great racing you're going to follow up. If you love the action, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you once again for 1,500 subscribers, and we'll see you next week out. Same time, same place, here at Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club.